والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
The first part was they follow assumptions, right? How do you destroy assumptions? You destroy assumptions with knowledge. You destroy assumptions with knowledge. So what happens sometimes? People believe in superstitions. Muslims believe in superstitions. And you think, if I just give them the evidence that this is superstition, they will change, because if they have the false assumption, I give them knowledge, they'll be fine. And then you come to me and say, Ustad, my dad's doing shit. Then I told him that he shouldn't be doing that. And he got angry at me. What should I do? I gave him the haqq. And then he gave me a slap. Well, because his assumption wasn't just going to be cured with knowledge. Behind that assumption was something Allah says, وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. It's something he desires, some things he loves. You're not addressing the root problem. You think you just educate people, everything will change. Allah goes after the heart, literally, the heart of the matter. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. And then the final words, they are so telling. By the way, on this pointing at ourselves, when we look at this ayah, أَفَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ. Same wording. إِسْتَكْبَرْتُمْ فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. In Surah Al-Baqarah, he tells the Israelites, every time a messenger came to you with something you didn't like. What is Allah telling us? Allah is telling us sometimes revelation says things we don't like. It goes against our definition. It goes against our culture. It goes against our trends. And whenever that happened, you became arrogant. No. Okay, yeah, it says what it says, but come on, seriously. You override what Allah says. Istakbartum. And then you started calling those people liars, and others you were even willing to kill in your arrogance. This is what the Israelites did, but it doesn't sound like a description of the Israelites today. Sounds like a very common phenomenon among the Ummah. Now, the tragedy. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّن رَّبِّهِمُ الْهُدَى. Al-Huda. All of this while Allah had already, ultimate guidance had already come to them from their Rabb. This had already come. They didn't want to open this. They didn't want to read it. Even if they opened it, they wanted to be selective with it. Let's just read it for barakah. And then go to, there I was in, what country was this? God, my map is all messed up. This was in Germany. I looked for a halal restaurant. I kid you not, I'm looking for a halal. I found one. And it was a Pakistani restaurant, Eid Mubarak. So I'm going to have myself like a garlic naan and a chicken kadai, and it's going to be all good. I go into the restaurant, there's a huge bar. And in the middle of the bar, there's a mirror. And on the mirror, there's Ayatul Kursi. And I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. This is like heaven and hell all at the same time. So may Allah protect this. Like, there's something in this guy's head. I know I'm doing something wrong, but I mean, I still believe. I still need barakat from Allah. So I'm going to assume that putting this here and showing my regard to God in this way, on my terms, based on my dhann, then I can follow my feelings and make money with alcohol. You see that? إِنْ يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسُ وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّن رَّبِّهِمُ الْهُدَى. I wrote 2 notes here. فِيمَا سَبَقَ وَفِي فَوْرِكُمْ هَذَا. Allah has been sending guidance all along. And the ultimate one He just sent now. He just sent Al-Huda now. What more could you ask for? You know, I was contemplating on the way here. What I do when I'm driving here, it's a good 40-minute drive, is I turn my brain off and just, from the notes, and I just think and just stare at the sky and the road. And the thought today that came in my head was, it overwhelmed me today. You know what it was? In the opening passage, we saw Allah talked about the stars, and the stars have light, but you can barely see the light. And it's not enough to light up the world. But when the sun comes, just one sun and it gets lit up. The teachings of the previous prophets, they used to be a sun when they were alive. And then the light of those prophets' teachings became less and less and less, like they became each like a star there's something left, but it's a star in the distance. You understand? There's some good in it, but it's surrounded by darkness. And I wondered for a moment, if I was born at a time before the Quran and I was looking for guidance, what would I do? Even if I did find guidance, I would find a little star here, a little star there, and it wouldn't illuminate my world like وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّن رَبِّهِمُ الْهُدَى. The ultimate light, the ultimate guidance has come. Now you can see the reality of this world and the next for what it is. How are you still on dhann and hawa? How is this possible? The tragedy of this ayah, Allah put this in the same ayah with all those criticisms. It could have been a separate ayah, وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّن رَبِّهِمْ الْهُدَى. But He put it in the same ayah. You're doing this, and Allah has given you this. Look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. I'm going to give you an analogy and then give you your break. The analogy I'm going to give you, I like to give you silly analogies. It helps you understand abstract points better, right? Abstract ideas better. So here's your silly analogy for a day. I build my mom a kitchen, a brand new kitchen. Everything's set up. And she goes and buys a portable stove from Walmart and she turns it on in the living room. She didn't do that. I'm just making this up. Okay. If she hears this, she's going to kill me. But anyway, she turns it on and she's almost setting the house on fire. Mom, there's a whole kitchen right there. What are you doing? What is this? This was there for a reason. This makes no sense. You have guidance and look at what you're doing. Allah gave you a mind. Allah gave you a heart. Allah gave you an inclination towards guidance. And then He gave you the perfect fit for it, His Quran. Where are you going? Like literally Allah asked the question, Aina tadhhabun? Where are you going? Where are you going? Now we all slip. This is not just about shaming us and guilting us. We're human. We slip and we fall and we mess up. Sometimes we mess up really big. And Allah will, in these ayat, He's going to address that. Because I told you, these religions, these names that they came up with, does anything so far have to do with the akhirah? Did you hear anything in their religions about the akhirah? What does it seem like their religions are about? This life. What is it that they want in this life? Stuff that they love. Where did these names come from? From the wishes they have in this life. There is no concept of the next life. And they did believe in an afterlife, but it's as if it's absent. We're going to have to figure out why it's absent. And what the connection is, not believing in the akhirah and making these names. Or even while believing in the akhirah doing this. That's what Allah is going to explain. And then we're going to understand the next section of the surah. We'll take a quick break. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Make the most of this series by downloading our free workbook for a guided contemplation of this powerful surah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أم للإنسان ما تمنى فلله الآخرة والأولى. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. فالحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Once again, everybody, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We're going to try to get to ayah number 28, one way or the other. Let's see, inshallah. Allah is now going to ask some rhetorical questions. Questions have a literal purpose and a rhetorical purpose. So for those of you that are interested in more advanced Arabic studies, in ilmul ma'ani, in the science of meaning, there's actually something we study called the secondary meanings behind questions. So for example, when somebody asks a question, they want information, right? That's the main purpose for asking a question. But there are other reasons you ask questions. For example, seriously? When you ask, seriously? You weren't looking for information. You were saying, how stupid can you be? Which, by the way, is also a question. Basically, you're saying, you're really stupid. Okay? Or, for example, somebody says, are you going to eat that? Which is maybe their way of saying, don't eat that. I want to eat that. Right? But they ask it in the form of a question. Or you could say, is it hot in here? And that's your way of saying, please turn the AC on. Right? So sometimes you ask questions, but you're not actually asking questions. You're doing something else. Right? So this is part of the study of rhetoric, communication psychology. If you want to use modern language, this would be communication psychology. We call it balagha when we study the language. Okay, so but the study of balagha, most of it is communication psychology.